In the year 1587, a group of 117 English men, women, and children set sail across the vast Atlantic Ocean. Their dream was to start a new life in the New World, a place of endless possibilities, untouched lands, and new beginnings. They called their settlement Roanoke, but within just a few years, that dream turned into one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in American history. The entire colony vanished without a trace, leaving behind only a single, chilling clue carved into a tree: the word Croatoan. It all began with Sir Walter Raleigh, an ambitious English explorer granted permission by Queen Elizabeth I to establish England's first permanent colony in North America. His first two attempts had failed miserably, but he was determined. So, in 1587, a new group led by Governor John White set out to create a self-sustaining English community on Roanoke Island, off the coast of what we now call North Carolina. John White wasn't just a leader, he was also an artist, a dreamer, and a man deeply devoted to his people. Among the settlers was his own daughter, Eleanor Dare, who soon gave birth to Virginia Dare, the first English child born in the New World. Her birth filled the colonists with hope. They believed it was a sign of good fortune, a new beginning for England across the seas. But the promise of that hope would soon fade into darkness. The settlers quickly faced harsh realities. The island's soil was poor for farming, the summers were sweltering, and the winters unforgiving. Food supplies dwindled, and tensions with local Native American tribes began to rise. Realizing that the colony would not survive without help, John White decided to return to England to gather more supplies. It was a heartbreaking decision, leaving behind his daughter, granddaughter, and all the settlers to fend for themselves. He promised to return within a few months. But fate had other plans. When White arrived back in England, he found the country at war with Spain. Every available ship was seized for the battle against the mighty Spanish Armada. White pleaded for passage, but it would be 3 long years before he could finally return to Roanoke. 3 years of waiting, wandering, and fearing the worst. In August 1590, John White finally reached the shores of Roanoke once again. His heart must have raced as he approached the island, desperate to see his family and his colony alive. But what he found was not life, only silence. The settlement was deserted, houses had been dismantled, fences taken down, and everything seemed orderly, as if the people had not fled in panic but left deliberately. There were no signs of struggle, no graves, no bodies. The entire colony had vanished. And then came the clue that would baffle historians for centuries. Carved into one post was the word Croatoan. On another tree, the letters CRO were found. White remembered that Croatoan was the name of a nearby island, home to a friendly Native American tribe led by Chief Manto, an ally of the English. White believed his people might have relocated there, but bad weather struck, and his ship's crew refused to continue searching. Forced by storms and dwindling supplies, White left once more for England, never to see his daughter or the lost colonists again. So what really happened to the Roanoke colony? Over the centuries, countless theories have been proposed, each one more intriguing than the last. Some believe the colonists integrated with the Croatoan tribe, merging cultures and disappearing into history. Supporting this, later settlers in the area reported encountering native tribes with distinctly European features, gray eyes, lighter skin tones, and English words in their language. Could the lost colonists have found refuge and new life among the locals? Others suggest a far darker fate. Perhaps the settlers were killed by hostile tribes or perished from disease and starvation. Some archaeologists point to evidence of a desperate struggle for survival, broken tools, scattered artifacts, suggesting that their final days were far from peaceful. Then there are the supernatural theories, the ones that make this story truly haunting. According to legend, Roanoke Island was cursed long before the English arrived. Native tribes spoke of restless spirits that guarded the land, and some believed the colonists were swallowed by a dark force beyond human understanding. One chilling tale tells of a shape-shifting spirit known as the Dare Stone. Over the years, mysterious stones have been found across North Carolina and Georgia, inscribed with messages said to be from Eleanor Dare, messages describing the suffering and death of the colonists. While many scholars believe the stones are hoaxes, Others claim they hold fragments of truth, whispers from the past that refuse to die. Even more strange is the recurring appearance of the word Croatoan throughout history. It's not just a random carving in Roanoke. The same word has been connected to other bizarre disappearances. When the famous writer Edgar Allan Poe was found delirious just before his death, legend says the last word he whispered was Croatoan. Years later, the word appeared carved into the post of a vanished ship in the 19th century. Even in modern times, it has been linked to ghost stories, lost travelers, and strange occurrences. It's as if the word itself carries anotherworldly energy, a curse echoing through time. But beyond the myths, researchers have uncovered new archaeological evidence that could hold the key to the truth. Excavations at sites near Roanoke Island have revealed European artifacts, fragments of pottery, tools, and weapons in areas once inhabited by native tribes. These findings suggest that at least some of the colonists may have survived and integrated with local peoples. DNA testing projects are now underway, tracing the lineage of Native American families in the region to look for possible European ancestry from the late 1500s. If proven, it would mean that the legacy of the lost colony didn't vanish, it simply changed form, living on through generations unseen. Still, there are those who believe the mystery will never be solved. The wilds of coastal Carolina have a way of swallowing secrets whole. Hurricanes, erosion, and centuries of natural decay have erased much of what once stood there. The island itself seems to guard its truth, whispering it only through the wind that rustles through the pines and the waves that crash against the shore. Every time archaeologists dig a little deeper, they uncover more questions than answers. A copper ring here, a musket ball there, relics that seem to say, "We were here," yet refuse to reveal how or why they disappeared. Perhaps the most haunting part of the Roanoke story isn't the disappearance itself, but what it represents: humanity's endless quest for discovery and the price we sometimes pay for it. These people left everything they knew behind, sailing into the unknown to build a new world. Instead, they became a part of a legend that still echoes more than 4 centuries later. The word Croatoan still stands as a symbol of mystery, of hope turned to silence, of a story unfinished. Whether the colonists found peace, perished, or became something more, and no one can say for sure. All that remains is the wind over the empty island and a single word carved in wood that refuses to fade from memory.